Today, we're going to talk about how it is really up to us to change our lives. And every decision we make, every thought we have, every interaction we give energy to is deciding a path. And I know it feels like, oh, Amber, it's not that serious. But on one hand, it is. And on another hand, no, it's not. It's kind of funny. But something I'm really trying to take into consideration this year is who I want to become. Something must have happened when I turned 32, where I was like, you know what? Let me really think about future stuff. And it's not that I've never really thought about the future and like who I want to be and that the goals I have. I've always been very goal driven, but this year felt different. This year felt more like I'm actually going to commit to myself. I'm going to say yes to myself. I'm going to say yes to building a life that I truly, truly love in every way. And if you know me, you know I'm definitely someone who takes action on things I love. I am someone who has built multiple lives that I've actually loved and been really happy with. But there was always this level of like this or that, not both, right? And this energy, I want to have and energy. This year, I want to be all about and I have this, and I have that, and I have that, and I have that. And it gets to get better and better and better, right? Instead of kind of choosing in the ins and outs of things. Now, one thing that I'm doing to make that happen is understanding who I want to be and what I'm looking forward to in the future. My partner and I just got engaged, and obviously that means thinking into the future, thinking about marriage, thinking about children, thinking about the life I want to live, thinking about where I want to live. All of these things that I honestly just didn't really ever think too much on. It's not like I didn't think of them, but I just mainly thought about them in passing. But now that it's becoming more reality, I've become more introspective of my life, more introspective of my decisions, of the people around me, of the things I'm saying, of the way I'm spending my money. So many things that I feel like I've never really done before because there's a new goal right in mind. There's a new chapter ahead of me, and I see it very clearly. And the decisions I make today will impact that chapter and will impact how fun it is, how easy it is, how flowy it is, or the opposite, the struggle, the stress, the indecisions. And that's something I do not want at all. So I need to start embodying that person today. And this is what I'm going to do to start shifting my identity. And this is what I hope can help you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking reflect on the past, reflect on what I loved, because there's so many things I've loved about my life, and also reflect on mistakes I've done, things that I haven't been honest with myself about, things about boundaries, people, jobs I've accepted, businesses I've built, all of these things, the pros and cons of it all, and get very freaking clear. And once you do that, you're going to start seeing a pattern because we humans are creatures of comfort and creatures of pattern, baby. So you're most likely doing the same thing over and over again. And when you get clear on the pattern that maybe you don't like, you are going to start catching yourself a little bit more in this next step. So the next step is two, is identifying and creating an intentional version of you that you want to wake up to every day, an intentional version of you that you're so proud of. And this part is actually one of my favorite parts. But what I love doing is I use my reflections, my past self as a guiding point. So I will use things that I do like. I was like, oh, I love that, I do yoga all the time. Can it continue that habit? Let's roll. I don't love that I've been paycheck to paycheck, even when I was banking like six figures a year and I was still paycheck to paycheck. I don't love that. I didn't love that at all. That's something we're leaving behind. Goodbye. Talk to you later. Other things that I loved about myself was I loved that I was a very social person. What I didn't love was that I was giving my attention to a ton of people that didn't necessarily deserve it. Not that they were bad or anything. They just weren't in alignment with where I wanted to be. So this year, I'm going to be more careful with who I text. I'm going to be more careful with who I spend time with. Who I'm constantly interacting on a day-to-day basis is going to be very selective because my energy right now has to be creme de la creme protected. All right. And the same thing goes for you. Protecting your energy is key. And a big part of how we do that is who we hang around with or who we don't hang around with. Maybe we need new people in our lives. And that's another thing to reflect on. So you craft this new identity, right? What are they doing in the morning? Who are they hanging out with? How are they presenting themselves? What clothes are they wearing? Where are they traveling to? All of these different things are really important when crafting this new identity. Now, once you've done all that, which is probably my favorite part to do, we're going to bring in some action steps. And this is what I'm starting to do now. So obviously it's one thing identifying with this person, be like, oh, this is who I want. I wrote this in my journal. That was great. There's another thing of actually becoming this person. I think that part is the hardest part. It takes a lot of repetition, it takes a lot of time, and give yourself freaking grace if you maybe go back to your old patterns because remember, humans are creatures of habit, and that's okay. Now, what I recommend doing and what I do when it comes to actions is I'm a big goal setter, but I don't just write my goals down. I write my goals out, I print out my goals, I put them somewhere I can see every day. And fun fact, I don't just write goals like lose weight or, grow my business, things like that. Those are all great, but is that all of my identity? No, that's some portions. And those are some big portions of it. Other things that I put in these, get my hair cut. That is one of my goals. And I put that on there. I put buy new clothes. Buy 5 pieces of new clothes. That is literally one of my goals. Do you want to know why? Because if I don't put that down on my goal, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not someone who is a shopper. I don't shop like that. Something to keep in mind when writing goals is not just writing these big audacious goals like buy a house, move countries, things like that. Also write these little goals that confirm and affirm your identity. The version of me has nice hair. She takes care of herself, right? She takes care of her hair. She goes shopping and also she calls and FaceTimes her grandparents, okay? Every week or at least once a month. So I think little things like that really start creating a true identity. Those little micro things that you feel like, oh, I don't need to write that down as a goal. Write it down as a goal because you are going to feel one, really happy when you check it out because it was easier than those bigger goals like buying a house. And two, you're going to start really looking forward to identifying and creating this like character version of you. Because at first it is going to feel foreign because you're not used to doing those things. And the more you kind of create this character, the more you become her, the more you are them, right? You are her. So that's number one, obviously creating your goals. Number two is the daily steps. I'm a huge advocate focusing on daily habits because it is life changing. Life changing. Your habits, what you do every single day will change your life. It will just change your life. It really is that simple. So when you start understanding that what you do every day will create that character that you have, those big goals that you're trying to achieve, all comes from your daily life. So what you do in the morning, as soon as you wake up, what you do during the day, the thoughts that you consume, the videos that you consume, the TV you consume, the people you have conversations with, how you prep your meals, how you don't prep your meals, how you say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'm really tired. And tomorrow comes and the same thing happens. So creating a routine that feels really good for you and also sustainable in the beginning. For example, if you're trying to get into yoga, you're not going to be like, I'm going to commit to yoga 7 days a week. 7 days a week, I'm coming to yoga for sure. I think that's a bad move. Okay. We want to start small. So maybe say, I'm going to practice yoga 2 days a week. 2 days a week, I'm committed to my yoga practice. Period. End of story. When you start doing that, when you start really committing to those 2 days, then you say, you know what? I'm crushing it in these 2 days. I'm gonna do 4 days and etc. Another thing you really want to focus on is your morning. As soon as you wake up, meditate or listen to high vibration music, affirmations, something that will affirm your vision, or maybe you create a mind movie, anything like that is really important. When you start understanding that those little habits and they feel small, right? You're just like, oh, I'm just meditating, or oh, I'm just like watching this mind movie about my life, or I'm just reading my vision. They feel really small, but what happens is you're constantly chipping away at your old self and creating and building new building blocks for your new self. And you start feeling really good and really proud of yourself. And you kind of start creating this fun, long streak that you're just, I'm crushing it. I want to continue being this person. I want to continue being this person that gets up and meditates and goes for a walk, or gets up and meditates in journals, or gets up and meditates and records before work, whatever it is. Like, you're going to start feeling really proud of yourself. And when you start feeling proud of yourself, you will start achieving more and you will attract more, because the last step of all of this is when you start identifying as a new person and creating a new identity, You start attracting new opportunities. So you don't even gotta do a lot of stuff. Obviously, we have to take action, but you'll be very surprised what happens when you start identifying as the person you want. Opportunities start coming in. People will reach out to you out of nowhere with this like dream career opportunity. You're like, wait, what? Like, how did I don't even think I applied for that, or I applied for that a year ago and they're talking to me now. Like, how is that even possible? Or you'll meet the right person that will inspire a business idea, and then you start running that, and who knows, that business may become a multi-million dollar business. We don't know. Or even it doesn't even need to become $1 million business. Many people are happy with $100,000 a year. So maybe it becomes $100,000. You're like living my best life, and that's perfect. Or you bump into someone in the grocery store just by accident, and they become your love of your life. You never know when you start identifying with who you really want to be and the actions you want to start creating, things shift. I'm telling you, things shift. And you start attracting consistently because we are magnetic fields. We are all energy. So the energies we are constantly attracting all depend on how we're treating ourselves, how we're identifying what we feel like we deserve. And when we start shifting our identity, you start attracting more things, or allowing, that's really what it is. You're allowing more things to come into your life. You've always been deserving, but you didn't allow it before. And now you're allowing it because you're shifting your identity. And the version of you that has this identity allows more to come in, allows more opportunity to come in, allows more friendship to come in, allows more abundance to come in, more money, and all of that. This is pretty much the formula to creating your next year and to having a very successful next year. This is what I'm going to do. So join me, come along. We can hold each other accountable. Let me know what you're trying to do in the comments below, and I will hold you accountable. Girl, I am that friend. I am that friend. You tell me to text you to go to the gym in the morning. You know who's texting you to go to the gym in the morning? I am. I will be texting you. So make sure you comment below and let me know what you want to create this year, and let's create it together. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for being here, and I'm excited for what 2024 has in store for us all. I so much love.